what's the plan now for next season? What are you expecting to see, sort of ins and outs of players, any players that you would personally like, and how you kind of think the squad, let's say people are fit, is going to line up?
I'm cautious about the transfer window, more so than I've ever been. I think it's a build up of many years of watching us mess up transfer windows. But I guess maybe the counter argument to that is we did make some objectively good signings last year. I mean, go through the team. I think George Petrovic is an all right goalkeeper. Malo Gusto has obviously proven to be a good addition. I think Moises Caicedo got better as the season went on. And obviously Palmer, I think Jackson too, were standout players. So I think it's something you said earlier, is the difficulty whenever I hear conversations about what Chelsea need in the transfer window is kind of twofold. It's like the concern about clutter, and it's also not really being able to have a clear gauge on the actual quality of this current squad. Not only because it's a young squad, but also because of the injuries. Like, it's very hard to know right now the level Chelsea reach if they have a mostly fit squad. And I know, again, that does lead us into chats about like theory and like what could be rather than what is. But it's like, I think it is a valid point that I right now can't judge the true quality, the true ceiling of the squad, because when Nkunku barely plays all season, when Reece James is obviously out for a long period of time, Fofana doesn't play at all, Romeo Lavia plays about, 20 minutes in after Christmas, and that's about it. We can't really gauge how good the squad is. That doesn't mean you don't make signings. I just don't have a lot of faith that we'll make the right ones. I personally feel that the profile of signing, like Tosin, for me, is the type of signing, is a good start. But it's only a good start if you keep Trevor Chalobah. If you sell, it's a bit like the Maresca Pochettino thing. For me, like, it's, if Tosin comes in but you lose Trevor Chalobah, for me, we haven't upgraded the squad. We haven't made
I
the
think
squad
Chalobah's
stronger.
going to go, man.
No, I listen. For Chalobah's own career, I feel like we've had this conversation a number of times, and we had it about Tomori, we had it about Abraham, we have it about so many of our homegrown players, right? Like, I love Trev. Like, I think he's a wonderful player. I think that in terms of his own career, I don't think it would be a bad thing for him to move on, because I think very quickly he'd prove Chelsea wrong. He'd become a very consistent player somewhere, wherever it would be. But if I'm purely talking from a Chelsea point of view, I don't think we need to sell him, and I think he's currently our best defender. So I don't know why we'd want to sell him.
You think Chalobah's the best defender?
I think best performing defender, yeah. I think if I
Best,
look at
yeah,
performance,
yeah, okay. Best performing defender. Uh, There's business, man. That's the terrible bit right now. Is you're going to have to swallow the fact that it's business. I definitely
yeah,
don't
but
think it's
there's business,
personal.
but then it's like, if that business, see, people talk about this, right? And firstly, it's, there are other players you could sell. Secondly, if any, this is the thing, if in a year's time Chalobah somewhere else, we've still got Axel Disasi, we've got a weaker defence. What I don't want to hear is, well, what were they supposed to do? When the argument right now is, well, business. It's just business, and it's like, I don't trust that our business is good. I don't trust that us selling homegrown players makes us a better team. I don't trust that the replacements are better than what we currently have. I hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, that, like, Cole Palmer is a great example, right? You lose Mason Mount, but you bring in Cole Palmer, you lose Kai Havertz, which, I saw Kai was running his mouth the other day, like Chelsea fans have been looking at Cole Palmer all season and gone, thank God you've signed for us, because you're an upgrade on whatever Kai Havertz
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
like, no, my point is, like, if if business makes us a worse team, then it's not good business. Like, it's not just because of, like, and the business that's being done is not because we're talking about what makes Chelsea the strongest squad. It's about covering the backsides of people who have made mistakes.
yeah.
That's
I do think it's fair. I would say though, in the grand scheme of this season, to sell Chalobah and bring Tosin in on a free, that in and of itself is fine. That's good business. I think Tosin is a better player than Chalobah.
I
So,
disagree. I disagree.
yeah, but if they're a Chelsea player with an England flag, Daniel Charles, you absolutely love it.
Well,
Um,
no, it's that Tosin's had, Tosin I think is I think brings a level and a profile to this squad that we need. We need taller, more dominant centre backs. I was going to start saying that I think in terms of like what Chelsea need in the transfer window, I want to sign Premier League proven players. I want to sign players who are in their prime or are playing regularly where they can come in and make a quick impact. But no, I think Trev has been, since 2021 when he came and undertook all this as a guy who's played in cup finals against amazing attacks and has had really
oh
good
yeah,
performances.
yeah, of course. Trev's great.
So I think that like for me like Chalobah is one of the best performing young defenders in Europe. Like I don't and this is the problem, right, with I think some Chelsea fans is they can't believe that like you can say that about your own players and your own homegrown players, but I'm supposed to like give endless patience to Mykhailo Mudryk, who's going to be this wonderful player. But apparently me saying that objectively when I look at Trevor Chalobah, who didn't even, the funniest thing is Trev didn't play for the majority of the season, but he still ends the year as like one of our best centre-backs. And like how many more times have we seen the story of writing off Chalobah, he's going to leave, he stays, and eventually becomes a regular in the first team.
But then, if you're in the boardroom, right, and I don't disagree. I think Chalobah I wouldn't class him as a young defender because he's 25 in about 2 months or something. So he's not a young defender, but as a young defender. We love the goal against Palace. We've backed Trev for ages. His versatility is exceptional, and actually, he's genuinely one of the best passing defenders on the planet, and no one can say nothing about that because I think that's just fact. However, someone that's played 900 minutes or something this season. I don't actually think Adarabioyo has played that many more. I know he's played more, maybe around 1,500. But if you're say in the boardroom, which is ultimately where decisions are being made, whether it's bad business or not, this is the reality of the situation. You look at this player's 25. We could get a decent fee for him. He cost us nothing. And he's played what is the equivalent of 10 games across the whole season.
But it's not 10 games. Like that's not.
It was
That's
13
not
games.
how,
He played 13 games.
yeah, but
And
like,
900
but
minutes
that's
in
not.
13
But
games.
that's not. We're not basing our assessment on Trevor Chalobah on 13 games. We're basing our assessment on Trevor Chalobah. I know they don't like this because it seems like this ownership wants to disregard anything that happened before they took over. But there was a Trevor Chalobah at Chelsea before they arrived, and that's where the assessment comes in. I think the performance of this year is enough on its own to keep him, but I would be, I think you're silly if you're not looking beyond that. And the counter argument is Axel Disasi. Like the counter argument is Axel Disasi because you bought Axel Disasi, who I said a year ago is this guy significantly better than Trevor Chalobah. He isn't significantly better than Trevor. I like Disasi as a character, but that's about it. Because when you compare him to Trevor Chalobah, he is not infinitely better. And I'm. This is not, again, like Tosin, I think, on his own is, I think, a good signing. I think he's a shrewd bit of business. But I just don't, like, are we trying to build a good squad? Are we, like, what is the intention here? Are we trying to build a better squad? Are we trying to squad sort of player trade and make things look good on a spreadsheet? Like, this is the question I have.
Things. Well, I would say things have to look good on a spreadsheet because that's how it works. I think. Secondly, you and I both get this criticism because I understand. I agree with your Chalobah take in terms of there's history there. However, the factual side is you would be criticised therefore for being overly sentimental, which is perfectly legitimate thing to do because
it's not sentimental. It's evidence.
It is.
It is evidence
there's sentimentality to it though. He's Chalobah as a whole has genuinely kind of always been peripheral apart from patches. He is excellent, and he's demonstrated his ability to play at the top level. And actually, for his career, when you mentioned focusing on that, going somewhere where he will be a deserved, respected starter is always going to be better for him. However, for the Chelsea first team, it's like it is as though Chelsea are consistently sidestepping rather than stepping forward, which is a general frustration. What we have to remember, and actually we have to sort of clarify, is that whilst I'm devil's advocating for the club, it's deeply frustrating, and I think your frustrations are completely legitimate, and I agree with almost everything that you're saying. It's why would you make this decision when you have X player, i.e. Trevor Chalobah, who basically knows the club, knows the ins and outs, has actually gone through the loan system, is tactically versatile and costs you nothing. But then you also, as fans, the bit that we hate is that there is the business of football element side, which is whether it's bad business or not, they are conducting business. And they're going to see it through that prism. And until that bridge is gapped, and the bridge will be gapped with results on the pitch, there's never going to be any aligned thinking. Trevor Chalobah leaving is a shame. It's even more of a shame if Conor Gallagher goes, because that it would be an absolutely shambolic decision. And you can see that happening too. As if we spent so much time on Trevor Chalobah, because essentially we kind of agree, we're just trying to present different perspectives. The Ian Maatsen thing is mental. I don't know why that's just not being addressed in some way. A lot of people believe, and I do believe too, that Cucurella is going to be quite a significant player in the Chelsea team next season. Given if you sort of were to put players in how Maresca does things, expect to see Cucurella play an awful lot of minutes. But why would you not just fix the Ian Maatsen relationship? But then again, costs nothing, goes for X amount, and then the spreadsheet starts, making nice noises. That's the real shitty bit. And actually, worse than Maatsen is the Gallagher thing, because I can't believe. I genuinely think it's immensely disrespectful in a way to make him wear the captain's armband and then get rid of him and not give him a new contract, despite actually being maybe overall in the Chelsea season the third or second best player in the squad.
With Gallagher, it's a similar conversation, but I think my fear with Gallagher is Maresca, I think, is already... My more cynical view is that I think Maresca's already on a hiding to nothing. Like, I think he's walked into a situation where like, it's all fun and games in America, but then opening season with 1-0 down to Ipswich with 75% possession.
Have you seen that video of Bill Gates getting hit with a plate with a load of cream or shaving foam on it? And it gets
I haven't. That sounds... I have to find that.
Police and security guards in Belgium were caught flat-footed today by a cowardly sneak attack on one of the world's wealthiest men. The target was Microsoft chairman Bill Gates, arriving for a meeting with community leaders. Watch what happens when a team of hitmen meet him first with a pie in the face. Gates was momentarily and understandably shaken, but he was not injured.
Yeah, it's great footage. Watch it. I feel as though that's every person who walks through the Chelsea managerial door just gets some way down the hallway before someone just covers him.
And the thing is, like, everyone sees everyone sees what's going to happen to them. They still do it. It's like
100%.
They think, no, I'm gonna be the guy that who doesn't get. I'm
gonna be the guy that gets the +1 on my contract. That's the goal. Is who can do it. It's the world's hardest game. It's the world's hardest game. It's just this is simply the next player in what is the world's hardest game, which is manage Chelsea for longer than 3 seasons and you're a winner. Nice one. There's no way to win it.
Who do you think are... So we talked about, like... just to wrap up the transfers, like, in terms of a player that I would... If you were like to me, you can only... And again, this is on realistic grounds. I'm not... we're not talking about Haaland, like... But it's yeah. If you were to... if sign one player... that's a long-term thing. If you talk about one, that's how getting me cancelled. And no, I think one player that I'd be like, yeah, that's like for me, I think that makes a lot of sense is Michael Elise.
Interesting. Is it really? Why is that?
Okay. It doesn't make sense in terms of like who Chelsea have signed in that area, but in terms of like, if we're going by the premise of signing players who I think improve what we have right now, rather than like, oh, they might be good in like 5 years. Maresca, I think Maresca needs a lot of help. I think he fundamentally, like, he's walking into a situation that's already difficult, already people doubting him. And he's got a short turnover in pre-season. It's a bad it's another badly assembled pre-season from Chelsea Football Club. Shock. It's traveling across America. He doesn't have what he had at Leicester, where he was able to, like, chill, you talk to people, have coffee, and chat with the players for like 2 weeks,
Play
and
with
then
the
start.
tactics board in the
Yeah,
office.
yeah, like that. That's not going to happen, mate. You're going to be doing brand events. You're going to be jet lagged. You're not. You're going to
TikToks.
hate the taste of airplane food. So it's going to be a really hectic summer. And I'm not saying that maybe. Of course, he's probably experienced that with Man City before in a different way, but and then we move into the season. So I think he needs players that are ready made to hit the ground running. And I think Elise fits the bill. And I think Elise would very quickly come in and, would fill a role that upgrades what we have. You got to factor in we do need a bigger squad than last season, or at least one that, I think has more quality, because we're going to be battling on a couple of fronts. And yeah, I think it would be. I saw a tweet before we started recording that was like, "Is this the first Clear Lake signing in a while? If you're not going back to the first summer of like a player who like right now is like one of the best in the Premier League in terms of form." Like I looked at his numbers and talk about players who've barely played minutes. Like you look at his numbers.
Is it 10 goals and 6 assists or something in 1,300 minutes?
Yeah, and he's like averaging I think it was like 0.63 goals per 90 or something like that. Like he is. I know he's given like Jimenez obviously out of Crystal Palace. Like they're relied upon to do a lot, and they're given a lot of freedom. But he is a very, very talented footballer, and I also think it's not unrealistic, because we were close to signing him last year. This ownership loves signing players that the sporting directors have previous relationships with. So Joe Shields has a good relationship, and out of the think tank of our sporting directors, Joe Shields is the one I trust the most out of like his wisdom and knowledge of players.
Yeah, I actually have been asked this quite a lot recently. Like, who would I bring in, and what would I do, and what would I do if I had X amount of money? And I think it's so hard to identify. Like, I really like Nicholas Jackson, but I kind of like him off the left a bit more. I hope there's going to be a way. Like, the thing is with someone like Elise's class, but do you then put Palmer at the 10 and then Elise on the right and Kunku through the middle and Jackson on the left, and sort of Jackson and Kunku, rotate in and out of space, and you sort of opt with a Palmer and Elise, kind of like a 4-2-2 structure. I know Maresca plays 3-2-2-3 quite often. I don't even know. Could you play Jackson, Nkunku, Palmer, and Elise as like a 4 in a roundabout way, whether that's in a box or sort of across the front 4? I don't know.